In a stunning blow to science last week and a massive blow to human health here in the United States, the Trump administration's EPA, run by former fossil fuel lobbyist Andrew Wheeler, decided to not ban the use of a toxic pesticide known as chlorpyrifos. Chlorpyrifos has been around for decades, manufactured by Dow Chemical, and it also destroys the developing brains of children. It also has pretty significant health effects on adults, on crops, on the landscape, on water, and animals. But, the biggest threat of it is the fact that it absolutely can ruin the lives of children if they are overexposed to it or exposed in large amounts of it as they're developing, which would include, by the way, anyone consuming a large amount of the crops upon which it is used, anyone who is a family member of a farmer using it, or anyone who happens to live near a farm that sprays this and uses it. It seeps into the groundwater, it gets carried away in the wind and drift, all of that. We're talking about thousands upon thousands of children in the United States at risk of being overexposed to chlorpyrifos and suffering from what the EPA itself found, developmental delays, memory damage, lowered IQ, and a reduction in attention span. And those are just a few of the significant dangers that chlorpyrifos poses to the developing brains of children. But last week, Donald Trump's EPA, again run by a former lobbyist, saw the data. And this was, I think, their third assessment of chlorpyrifos. After they decided to not ban it back in 2017, they said, we're going to look at it more, but in the meantime, feel free to keep using it. We don't know if it's dangerous. We're going to look at it again. They knew it was dangerous then. They knew it was going to be dangerous after this third assessment. And sure, the EPA found that. They're like, wow, yeah, it's pretty bad. But we're going to classify these results as inconclusive. So you can just keep using it because we really can't determine. Now, here's the thing. Every major university study that has ever looked at the dangers of chlorpyrifos, they have all found the exact same thing. And a lot of those studies you can actually find, go to the link in the description of this video. The story from Common Dreams is going to link you to a lot of those studies. And they all found the same thing, that this stuff is a toxic neurotoxin that can absolutely destroy the lives of children. It can destroy the lives of adults too, by the way. But mostly the kids. So here's what's crazy about this. It is not as if chlorpyrifos is the only possible pesticide available for use in American farms. There's countless pesticides. You can use one of 100, one of 1,000 different pesticides. Why does this one have to stay on the market? The answer is because I don't think people in this country understand how much power, truly, how much power the agrochemical companies have here in the United States. I know you're watching this, you're pretty well informed about things. You know we talk about corporations all the time, but I have to tell you, one of the things that often gets overlooked is the fact that the agrochemical companies have been calling the shots in D.C. in terms of their own regulation for decades. They've done it under Republicans, they've done it under Democrats. They got Bill Clinton to reverse the EPA's own findings, by the way, of how toxic Roundup can be. These are people who know what they're doing. And they know how to really not get caught like other companies doing it. There's not exactly always that money trail. You look at pharmaceutical companies that get preferential treatment, that don't get in trouble by the federal government when they put out a pill that kills 2 million people. Well, you can look it up. You see their direct donations, who they paid, and all that. Agrochemical, a little more fuzzy. Oh, they're still giving money. But they're also putting up a lot of front groups, too. They're also paying academics to say that this harmful toxin they've created here or this one they've created there is totally not harmful. They'll pay you tens of thousands sometimes to put your name on one of their ghost-written papers. It's shady, it's dirty, it's deceitful, and it is unique to the agrochemical industry here in the United States. And that is why chemicals like chlorpyrifos that will ruin the lives of a child, millions of children potentially over the years, That's why these things are allowed to stay on the market.